It's time for your favorite podcast, The Musicians Talk Show. Here's your hosts, Dallas Dwight and Matt Tolley.
Welcome to another episode of the Musicians Talk Show podcast. It's episode 92. My name is Dallas Dwight.
Dude, is that the fucking wind?
I hope they can hear that.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
dude. That sounded like a tornado warning.
So the wind howls through our balcony and the doors of the balcony, and it goes, woo!
Well, anyways,
Just
I guess
constantly,
I ruined this intro, but I'm Matt Tolley.
So you might be hearing that. Oh, pause. Here we go.
Dude, I don't see how you
Yeah, our noise gate's going to catch that anyway, so you're not going to hear it. But anyway, there's wind howling,
Yeah, it was a little windy when I was on my
and
way
we're
over
inside.
here, so it makes sense. And now it's windier.
But yeah, welcome to episode 92 of the Musicians Talk Show. We're here hanging out. We were just talking about the ego talent scale.
Yeah, well, it came up. We weren't really talking about it. I guess we're going to be now.
Yeah, well, we've talked about it plenty.
No, it's just a scale it's a sliding scale that basically means, you know, when somebody is really talented, most of the time that comes with ego as well. So
Right.
you're looking for somebody
Or
with the right
you can
amount.
sum it up with a rule.
Yeah.
Your ego, choke there. Your ego cannot exceed your level of talent.
Right.
That's the
rule.
formula.
That's the rule that you want. That's the sweet
Right.
spot.
If you're super talented
By all
or
means.
super good,
By all means.
by all means.
People will put up with your ego.
Really, it's not even that though. It's if you make them money, you know.
Sometimes, yeah, like if they're a business person, but if you're in a band with somebody, then it's just it's talent.
Oh, I see what you're
usually,
saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's
so
a good point.
Depends on what perspective you're looking at it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
Well, let's
I forget
do
why we
the-
got onto that conversation, but
We were talking about the hot crazy scale.
well, yeah, but while we were talking about that wind is crazy.
It is really crazy, and there's nothing I can do. I could open the window or open the
that would-
door, but
Yeah, that would I don't know, like blow your papers away. And
Yeah.
shit.
suck me out the window
Right.
like in a vacuum.
Damn. that's
I was
crazy.
going to say, let's do weekend review, and I'll go first since I don't have as much to say.
All right.
So we played Hickory Tavern, Steelcroft
Yeah.
again. It was
Yep.
fun. We had a much better experience than we did last time. It rained like it always does.
Yeah. You
I
played with your
am
new
the rain god.
upgrades, right?
Yep, and we just got our brand new PA system. It literally came in on Friday, and we got to put it to
Upgrade.
use. It was awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. Love new gear. I love it when you get go and try it all out, you know, because you anticipate it when you order it. You scope it out, you find out what's the perfect system, and you're like, oh,
This was
yeah.
a proud moment because the band bought it from the band's bank account with money that the band earned.
Perfect.
Nobody chipped in out of pocket. And let me say, this was an expensive ass system.
Yeah.
We did get a huge deal off of it because we used the Guitar Center discount.
Awesome.
So we got it for almost half off. But
They had a deal going or something.
no, Jerson works there,
Oh,
So,
right,
yeah.
right.
so we got that down, which was nice.
And the show went off great.
Show was fine. Yeah, it was a show.
You
There
said,
always are.
You told me a funny story that after the show, you guys were throwing French fries across the room.
Yeah,
That's pretty
there was
funny.
Foz ordered some fries and there was still some left at the end of the show. So Goliath was standing on one side of the stage and I was standing on the other, and we were trying to throw them like into each other's mouths. It was really fun.
Yeah, I'm sure the house really appreciated that.
Yeah, there's definitely a
These
few on the
fucking
ground.
jackasses. Nah, I'm sure they're fine. That's cool. So good
That's
show,
it.
though.
Nothing else to say.
Nothing else to say. Selling shirts. How's the merch going?
I shot a video. The merch is going good. We sold some stuff last night.
Sweet.
I shot a video for Bold Music Saturday morning. Yesterday was actually super busy. I did the video shoot in the morning.
Yeah.
Went straight to the church gig for the setup and the rehearsal, and then straight to loadout for the gig, and then got home at 2 a.m. So it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
And the video shoot went really well. We're promoting our summer studio camps.
Okay. Right.
So this
right.
was a video, kind of a staged video to kind of show what goes on and get people interested.
Those
in
are
that.
really cool. You want to real quick go through that? I know we've probably talked about it before, but just give like a really quick summary of that.
Yeah,
Those are-
so this year we're totally redoing it, and it's
Oh.
bigger and better than it's ever been. In the
Excellent.
past years, basically, students will get together. If you signed up for the camp, there's a high school camp and a middle school camp. A bunch of kids come together, write a song in a week, and record that song in a studio. And for most of them, it's their first time ever in a studio. And for a lot of them, it's their first time ever trying to write anything and create anything.
right.
So it's a really fun thing. Now this year we're revamping it a little bit, and there's going to be 3 parts to it. There's going to be kind of creative teaching songwriting part. There's going to be a live performance component, kind of train them for the stage a little bit, and then the week ends with the studio component.
That's awesome. I love that idea. If they need any help or want any extra I don't know, whatever, anything. I'd love to come and do some of that, be part of that.
For sure.
Anyways,
I will throw your name in the hat.
cool. Hey,
And then burn the hat.
And burn the hat. It'll never make it. No, so last night was cool. It was a really kind of a bittersweet moment because.
Did you do anything on Friday, though?
On Friday? Thanksgiving. I just spent time with my
Oh,
family.
that's right.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody,
happy
by the way.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
We forgot. I realized we forgot to say it last week when it would have
Right.
actually counted.
Yeah.
So, well,
happy
now you get it.
belated.
It's not my favorite holiday,
Happy
so it
belated
always slips my
Thanksgiving.
mind. But
It's Black Sunday.
yeah,
Every day after the week of Thanksgiving is black. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know that.
Friday,
Black
Saturday,
Friday,
Sunday.
Black Saturday, Black Sunday, Black Monday.
well,
Tomorrow's
Cyber Monday,
Cyber Monday, but it's also a Black Monday. A lot of people don't realize Cyber Monday is black.
Black Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, back to your Saturday.
Yeah. So we were actually talking about Friday. So Friday was just at my parents' place hanging out, and that was fun family time. And then also Saturday, I had to get back to work. I had to go to work and make up time so that way I could have the Friday off. So yesterday I worked, but then after work, I went to the Jody Gibson Memorial show, tribute show, basically for he's a guitar player for Black Ritual, and it was an awesome show, basically a show in support of and love for the music.
What's the name of the guy?
His name is Jody Gibson.
Jody Gibson, and he's the guitar player for Black Ritual.
Yeah, exactly. He was the guitar player for Black Ritual, and they actually broke up before he died. I'm not sure the cause of death or anything like that.
Okay.
But and I didn't ask. It's not really important, obviously. But everybody was there from the scene, and it was really cool to see everybody come together. And one of my favorite bands for a long time in the scene, in the metal scene in Charlotte, is Annabelle Lee, and they did a cover of a Black Ritual song. I think one of their more memorable songs. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. It was released. It's called Below Zero. And dude, I've never heard Annabelle Lee sound like that. And they just crushed it. And they still sound like Annabelle Lee for sure. But to hear them do Black Ritual song, I don't know, it's it kind of blew me away from it. And I've heard them do other covers before. Not many. They don't do a lot. But it was something else, man. And the place was just fucking loving it, man. Everybody loved it just because, and they were the only band who played a tribute song. I thought for sure there'd be more people playing some Black Ritual songs, but Annabelle Lee, from what I know, from what I saw, because I showed up a little late, but not very late at all. Nobody else did a tribute, so it was cool. Everybody had nice things to say, obviously, and it was it was a really good, good feeling, good atmosphere, all of it. It was a lot of fun. At Amos's, I should say, it was another great sounding event, all of it. So the bands wore, God, that wind is so crazy.
It's distracting.
It is very distracting. But the bands were Dragged by the Neck, Annabelle Lee, Violent Life, Violent Death, and Blackwater Drowning. Some names that you've probably heard me talk about before. Yep. And I do want to get...
Are these all local Charlotte bands?
Yeah, exactly. I want to get some of them on. Annabelle Lee being one of the ones priority for me because I've known those guys for a long time, and they'd be great. We'll have a couple of them on or something and talk to them about their experience in the scene for so long. I mean, they've been in the Charlotte scene. I firmly believe that they've helped build the scene and keep it alive and build it. You know what I mean? Or
is it all the same members as it's always been?
No, it's been a rotate. Some people are changed, but the core lineup now, other than the singer, has been the same for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the same. It's Jim, Chad, and Jared, and they've been the core three members, I would say. They lost a guitar player. They had a lead guitar player, but Jim stepped up and plays the shit out of some leads now, man. I'm surprised, man. I mean, not surprised, but blown away. Really just, it's awesome. Good to see.
That's awesome.
Yep. It was an awesome show, man. I am really glad I went, and we had a good time. Got a little bit too drunk.
Okay.
That tends to happen. Started having fun. Then have a bit too much Uber home. No problem. Actually, it's a Lyft home. I always say Uber.
Yeah, I always mean Lyft. Yeah,
but I get Lyft because it's cheaper every time. They have some kind of promotion or whatever. So
I've heard Lyft is better anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I get into people's cars. They take me home. I barely remember the experience.
Fair enough.
Not because I'm so drunk that I'm blackout. What I mean is that I barely remember it because it's such an unmemorable moment. Every once in a while, you get some crazy Uber drivers or Lyft drivers, but.
Well, we've had something on the list to talk about for probably 6 weeks now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a super pressing topic, but it is something that in my mind is something that I'm not good at and I want to be better at, and we can talk about that a little bit later too. But
Yeah.
what we're talking about is the LLC registration process.
And
to
the
start
kind
your
of
own business.
the business logistics side
Exactly.
of being a band, if that's where you want to take it.
Exactly.
If you're just kind of hobby garage band, this stuff doesn't really matter as much. But if you're getting to the point where you're making money, this stuff becomes important.
Yeah. And that's something like the fact that you can write off expenses, the fact that you can track all of your sales and your growth and stuff like that is, super powerful, I think, in knowing where you stand,
Yeah. And I mean, you're going to have to deal with taxes and the legalities of things. You don't want to get into trouble. So
Exactly.
this is this kind of helps that. Now, by no means are we legal counsel.
No. We're just trying to get you thinking about this in a way that you'll go and look it up and discover this side of it for yourself. But if you had questions, we could definitely help you through it. If you wanted to hit us up on any of our methods of getting a hold of us,
Right.
i.e. Discord,
Yep.
Instagram,
Yep.
wherever, hit us up and we'll definitely help guide you down the right road. But we are not legal,
Yeah. By no means should this be taken as legal advice.
No. But here's something interesting that just came up for me, and it's been on my mind for a while now. I've wanted to get my band, Perfect Barium, in an LLC, and then also start its own bank account, so it has working off of its own whatever you want to call it, accounts. So it's not my personal bank account or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've wanted to do that for a while. Now we got the website up and the store is up, and I have it up, but I haven't advertised it any. So I haven't really been worried about how the money gets transferred when somebody buys something. Well, I was talking with my parents this weekend, and my brother's girlfriend overheard me talking about this and saw the samples of our merch and stuff. And she just went, and without even thinking about it, she just went to the website, bought 2 things, and had them shipped, which is fine. They shipped them and stuff like that. But now they're holding on to that money because I hadn't set up the bank account portion of the website. So now there's nowhere for that money to go. And they subsequently shut down the shop of it, and right now you can't buy anymore. So she got the only merch you can get right now, and I have to set it up.
Now, it should be said, a business bank account is different than a personal bank account.
Yeah.
And you cannot set up a business bank account as a person. You have to set it up as a business.
Right. So you have to have an LLC.
So you have to have an LLC and incorporated or some sort
right.
of organization.
Exactly.
And then you have to have an EIN number, which is an employee identification number,
Right.
which is basically your social security number for a business.
For a business, correct.
And that's what you're going to have along with other things, proof of LLC incorporation or whatever,
Yeah.
to give to the bank and say, we need to do this. Now, business bank accounts are usually not free. It's usually a monthly fee, and those fees can be hefty. And also, there's sometimes, depending on the business account, there's huge minimums you have to meet.
Right.
Like, okay, well, your account will be free if you have the daily minimum of $30,000 in the account. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to have that. So,
Right.
But luckily, through extensive research, I found the perfect free, perfect business checking account for you guys. And that is Azlo, AZLO.
Nice.
Cannot recommend them enough. I've used other free or low cost business checkings in the past, and none of them compare. So I think Azlo is a relatively new company. The one thing that is not my favorite is checks do take a minute to clear.
Huh.
So our first check took up to 10 days to clear.
Yeah. Usually
So if
the
you're
first
thinking
one is-
if now it's down to 1 to 3,
right.
depending.
Usually the first one takes a little longer. They're setting everything up. They have to.
But you don't think about that when you go
know.
play a gig. Oh, sweet, we're playing Saturday. We're gonna make $1,000. That means I'm gonna get $200
Right,
Saturday.
then you wait 10
No,
days.
dude, you're getting $200 later
weeks
that
from
month.
now, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's
you
stuff.
got to think about that.
Yeah,
But
it's all kinds of things you're gonna learn as you open your own business. I mean, and I like it as far as a way to measure your growth and I said this already, but I think it at whatever point you're willing to pay monthly to keep your bank account open and to keep your website going, right? Whatever.
it's usually in the $14 a month range or something.
Right. So I know it's not much, but I mean, whatever month.
But if you can get that for free, do it.
Whatever
which is
step,
Aslan.
at whatever stage you're ready to do that and start paying monthly to keep your to have your band or
Right.
to have your business, that is a moment I think in that you're making a decision that this is the point I start my growth from. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like it's you can be a band for a
Investing
year.
in yourself, right?
You can be in
Yeah.
a band in a year for 2 years or whatever, and not ever you can be writing and creating all kinds of things, but never be to the point where you're selling yourself now and you're actually treating it like a business. So once you decide to do that, I think is an important moment. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? it's
like now we're
decision.
taking it seriously.
It's a
You know what I
pivot.
mean?
It's a pivot point. Exactly. It's like it's a statement.
Now, if you're out there listening and you're thinking, I need a business bank account, but I don't know, I didn't know I need an LLC. How do I get an LLC? That process is pretty simple. You're going to go through your Secretary of State's office through whatever state you live in. So I can only speak for South Carolina because that's the only one I've ever worked with. I've done the process probably 6 times, so I'm very familiar with the South Carolina process. But I was helping Matt with the North Carolina process, and it's different.
It's gonna be a little different.
The process is the same. I shouldn't say that, but like digging around on the website and finding the right form and who to send it to, that's all different.
The particulars will be different in the
But basically you have to find the form called Articles of Organization is basically what it is. And that's where you say, hey, my name's Matt. I'm making Prep and Barium LLC. Here's my address, contact information, signature, all that stuff. And then you have to send them the filing fee, which in South Carolina at the time I did it was $110.
Right. And there are other options besides an LLC, right? I mean,
sure, but the LLC is the cheapest and quickest.
It's the cheapest.
If you're trying to go incorporated or stuff, those fees can get much, much, much higher and much more involved.
Right. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. I think that's what the organizations, or articles of organization are, right? There's essentially, it's all those types of organizations you could start.
I believe so. Yeah. I've only ever done the LLC. Yeah. So I can't speak too much for the others.
An LLC, as far as like, does it cover you as far as like once you start an LLC, now you own that name? Does it give you some type of...
Right. Yeah, that's your company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you own that name. Nobody else can use it. It gives you some type of trademark.
It's not a trademark. A trademark thing is a separate thing.
Okay. I know it's not the same thing, but it is like...
But nobody else can start Prep and Barium LLC.
Right. It's claimed.
Right. They might still be able to trademark Prep and Barium.
Right.
Or things like that.
Right. That's interesting.
But I'm not exactly sure on how all that works.
Me neither.
But... LLC, by the way, means limited liability company or corporation. I can't ever remember which.
Yeah, I think it's corporation.
Yeah, could be. But anyway, you'll see if you Google LLC and file an LLC and all that stuff, you're going to see all these things pop up from companies like LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, stuff like that. And they're going to say they can do it for you. And they definitely can. I'm here to tell you, you do not need them to do it for you. It's not a complicated legal thing that needs a bunch of lawyers involved at all.
It's quite a hefty price if you pay.
You're going to have to pay them upwards of $300 plus the fee. So in my example, I'd have to pay $410. And when I tell you that I did it in 10 minutes and it is the easiest thing I've ever done, I'm not lying. Like it is a joke how easy it is.
That's what everybody says. Everybody always.
And when I did my first one, I lived on campus at USC, which I could just walk to the Secretary of State's office. Shit. So I walked in and met with the not the Secretary of State, but with the secretary. Yeah, and I handed her all my stuff and I said, "Am I good to go? Is there anything else you need?"
Secretary of the Secretary of the State.
Yeah,
that's a long.
It's like the office assistant to the regional manager.
Exactly. Yeah, so definitely worth it to just do it yourself. Everybody's told me that. Everybody who I've talked to goes, "Oh, you're going to start an LLC." Like as soon as I mentioned that, it's like just do it yourself. Don't pay anybody to help you. Interesting. What was that? Stuff banging off the window.
You guys are literally hearing my apartment fall apart from wind.
My car's right over there. I hope it's okay. But yeah, so it kind of came up again here at the point now I'm on Shopify is where I run prepandbarium.com through. And I need a bank account set up through it. And I guess since the LLC is not set up yet, we're not quite ready to open our own bank account. I'm going to set it up to my personal account just to keep the website alive for now. And then I'll go back and switch the account that it's associated with.
Yep.
But so that's just interesting. I really wish I had that set up, but 2020, that's a goal for me.
And once you get your LLC, you'll have to get your EIN number. Right. Or EIN number, I guess is redundant, but your EIN, you'll have to get that. That's a separate step. You have to go through the IRS to do that.
Okay. So
it's free and it's easy. Longer. And it's from what I remember, it's instant. As soon as you do it, you can download the PDF that says what you need.
Nice.
But that's another step. You're not just going to get one.
Exactly. It's going to take a little while. So I'm going to want to keep the website up for right now. And then
the LLC thing takes a minute because you're going to probably print and fill out your forms.
Yeah.
Attach the check or whatever, and you mail it to them.
Right.
And then they get it.
Time.
And you might be able to do some electronic submissions nowadays, but they're going to get it, do whatever they need to do, and then they mail you the packet back with your official certificate and a copy of all the things like stamped by the Secretary of State, so it's legit. Right. And those things are what your bank's going to want to see.
Right.
So what you get back from the Secretary of State. Now, once you have those, you can go get your EIN number and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's why I figured it's going to take some time.
But those 3 things are really all you need to do to get started. You need the LLC, the EIN, and the bank account.
Yeah.
So you have to do it in that order.
Next year, I'm doing it. Next year, we're going to get it all legit and be 2020 is going to be the year.
2020.
So does that mean we have to write 2020 EST next to Prep and Barium or not? Or is
it's actually super dope. Or it'd be EST 2020, right? Because that means established. Am I right on
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I always thought.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, established.
It always
2020.
cracks me up when I see things that are like established 2016. It's like, dude, you don't need to say that. Like the only reason people include that is if it's impressively long.
Right,
Like established 1812.
Exactly.
Like, oh shit.
Well, you know who did that in the beginning? Avenged Sevenfold did that in the very beginning. They would always advertise the 1999 because they liked the fact that it had like the 999 is upside down 666 thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they always advertise it as like, oh look, it was part of their thing, like established 1999. You always saw it on their shit.
It's crazy. You don't think of them as a 90s band.
Yeah, well, 1999 they
Yeah.
put out a Sound in the Seventh Trumpet, I think.
Really? It was
Pretty
that
sure
year
it
it
was
came
that
out?
year,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
So that's why they consider it 1999. So if we went by our first single, it would be 2019.
2019. Yeah.
But if we go by when the business started and then potentially, well, when the album's going to come out, it'd be 2020. So I don't know.
Yep.
Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. That wind is incredible. I need to check to see if my car didn't blow away.
Matt's gone to check to see if his car's not blown away. There's no way your car blew away. It's a car. Right? Okay, Matt's looking out the window. Okay. He said most of it's still there. I have questions about the most of it part of that sentence.
Yeah, there's a cheeseburger sitting on the hood earlier. I left it there for later. It's gone. No. Sometimes I do that. I just leave cheeseburgers.
It's not, the wind's not much. It just whistles because of the way it
cutting
goes through the door.
It's
Yeah.
not the doors. I think it's the.
Well, if you open the door, it
railings.
stops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the railings.
I checked it the
maybe
other day
whistling.
because I was wondering that as well. You open the door and it's just wind blowing. But then you
crazy.
shut the door and it starts whistling like crazy.
So it's not even that windy. It just seems like it.
No, well, that weird shake of the window was something new. That was something. But you mentioned 2020 is the year of the dolphin.
Yeah. You're the dolphin.
Not the year of the dolphin, but it is the
Dolphins
year.
make me cry.
We were going to talk about maybe some personal and podcast and band and business goals for
Yeah, let's do
2020.
it. Yeah.
So,
Got a lot coming up, I think. And I think we're both ready to step up our game on the podcast and personally in our band lives. And
yeah, we just had a good meeting before we started recording here, and we have a lot of cool things that we're thinking about for 2020.
And wrapping up this year too, obviously. But we'll leave that. To
2020, we're gonna come out with a bang, I think, and it's gonna be a totally different podcast in all the best kind of ways, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we're finally getting around to do stuff that we wanted to do in the very beginning, but obviously it's a little more work and a little more cost. But we're gonna bite the bullet this year and step it up.
Yep.
So super excited for 2020.
Yes. So, what is a personal goal of yours in 2020?
Oh well,
or even like a resolution kind of thing.
Yeah. So one of the things I already said too, and this is going to be more like done at the beginning of 2020 because it's something I want done by 2020, is to get the band business and things straightened out. So that's a big thing.
Okay.
I'll be
so
happy right after
this
that.
is the end of the decade.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, right? Not my decade though. This year was the end of my decade if you think about it, because 89, 30 years, dude. Anyways,
It's crazy.
it is crazy. All right. Next year I want to travel with the band. I want to do some fly gigs. We'll call them fly dates to make them sound cooler than they really are. But no, just like where we book a
Drive
gig
dates.
somewhere cool that we're gonna go vacation there, right? We're gonna go there and we want to visit this place. Why not book our band for a couple of shows there while we're there too, and just have some fun? We'll have to bring our gear and figure out a back line or whatever. But I think that's the way to do it. I think we're gonna try to do that a couple of times next year. So that's a
Nice.
big goal for us, and hopefully the band can pay for it. We'll see what happens. But
One of my resolutions that I realized I was going to make at our Halloween gig was I want to stop yelling at gigs because it blows your voice out.
yeah,
And the reason you have to yell is because they're playing music so damn loud
Right,
that you have
right.
to lean into your friend's ear and scream at him for him to hear you.
Exactly.
And then if you do that all night,
your voice
by the
is
end of the
blown.
night, you can't talk.
Yep.
And that's not
Trust
a
me,
good
I
healthy
know,
thing
bro.
to do for a singer. So I'm going to try to take better care of my voice
That's a good goal, bro. Good resolution.
doing that way. And
That's
then
a personal one. What about
Yeah,
the
for
band?
sure.
What about LA? Maybe like by the end of the year. See, I should have said that too. By the end of the year, where I want Prep and Bevan to be too. But by the end of the year
is 30 days.
No, next year.
Into
Next year.
2020.
Yeah. So like, what's
Oh.
your resolution for that year? Like, what are you gonna do next year?
Well, we're going to release 2 new singles and 1 5-song EP, ideally.
Ideally,
Yes. So we're going to release 7 songs in 2020
perfect.
compared to 4 in 19.
2019.
So that means we'll have 11 songs. Am I doing that math right? No, sorry, 9 songs.
Yeah.
Did I do that right? Yeah, 5 and 4
5.
plus the other 2, 11.
7.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
of the 5 EP plus the 4 EP,
Right.
but then you have the 2 extra singles. So yeah,
Right, okay.
11.
Cool.
So That's
So that's a goal. More music output next year.
more music, and then we're stepping up the show thing. We're possibly bringing on a sixth member, so we have all sorts of cool things going on there.
Have you talked about 6-member prospects?
I thought
we had. But I mean,
we have a keyboard player we're working with to see if he can bring
what he can bring
what
to the
we
table.
need to the table. So and if that ends up happening, it's going to be kind of a all facets thing. It's not going to be like you're only here, you're only there. You're going to be joining the Guns N' Roses tribute, the variety band, and the original band.
Right.
And we're going to be putting you to work.
Yeah, keep it all solid.
So, and a keyboard player is not something we were ever looking for, but we started thinking about it, particularly after I read the Black Crowes book.
Right.
And they were a 6-piece band,
Right.
5-piece, classic 5-piece with a keyboard player.
Right. Guns.
And that really brings a lot of our music to new places, which I think could be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's like Peace of Mind has such a prominent keyboard part.
It's got a lot of piano and organ in it already, and some of the other songs do as well, and then some of the new stuff does.
Yeah, so it would really help in the live shows. I think that's a cool idea, and having one more member to help out and take on some of the duties of being in a band that is now an independent venture nowadays. We don't have a manager, we don't have an accountant, we don't have maybe one day, maybe as both of us reach that point. What do you think about an accountant? A band accountant.
Sure. I mean, you should probably have one for your LLC
do you think that would be a really early? That'd be probably the earliest.
We're gonna need one for this year.
Yeah,
for sure.
That'd be like one of the earliest members of the team. You should probably get before you get a manager.
Well, you're not gonna have an accountant in the sense that he's a part of your team.
No.
You're gonna have someone that does your taxes.
That does
probably.
your taxes and maybe checks your books, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know
either.
I need to find an accountant and be like, hey, here's what we did.
How do I
you
file
tell
this?
me what to do or do it yourself.
Right. Right. See if the fee
I don't want to think about it or mess with it.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to mess it up and that could get us in trouble.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
You could have to deal with getting
big problems.
Yeah, getting what's it called, audited.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't want any of that.
Not at all.
So that so by the end of 2020, I'll say too, Puff and Barium, I want to be locally, we'll say well known. I'd like our presence to be well known. Whereas this year we kind of just dipped our toe in the water. We didn't play a lot of shows. We played 6 shows.
Your first show was February, right?
February,
yeah.
And that was
that's crazy. That feels like so long ago.
I know,
dude.
man. It's been a whole year almost, man. We're coming up on a year. But I remember just the steps we took were great. I thought we did really good as far as the way we escalated our game and the way how we bettered our show too. Our performance itself has gotten better now, and I really do feel like we got the solid lineup now. You probably feel that way too now. Other than the 6th member, potentially adding on or whatever, right? But I feel like you guys probably solidified and settled in too, right? That's
for
that's
sure.
a good feeling, you know what I mean? That I really do feel like the guys we have now are good. And
where you don't feel like someone's constantly about to leave or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. I just feel like everything's in the right place. So I hope things stay that way, and I feel like it's a good place to be because of inspiration comes better that way, and everybody just upbeat about everything, energy,
Yeah, and that takes you a long way.
Yeah, so hopefully next year we ride this momentum that we had this year, a nice starting point, and it was a good year. It wasn't anything crazy. We didn't sell 1 million fucking t-shirts or anything, but we did get out there. We sold some t-shirts. Made some people happy at some shows. It was a lot of fun. We have stories and all that. So next year is gonna be a big one, and I'm gonna try and get us booked at a festival. I'm gonna try and get us some traveling dates. I really think that would be fun because everybody wants to travel anyways. Everybody's talking about oh, we should go. Drew wants to go to Berlin again. And he's like, man, you guys should come with me. And I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to go with you, might as well book a gig over there, find a spot. Mm-hmm. In Berlin, the nice thing about that is they speak English. So we could go there and not.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere in Europe does.
Yeah. Well, I bet the deeper parts they get a little more scarce, but the big cities, of course, are going to.
Yeah, for sure.
The hubs.
Definitely. So we talked about bands and personal. What about podcasts?
Podcasts. Well, we talked about the revamping. We're coming at it with a new look next year. And we've talked about this before. I don't think on the show or anything, but me and you were like, yeah, let's revamp this look and kind of give it a fresh look. But I think 2020 is the year to do it. 2020 vision.
Yep. So everything's gonna look hopefully better. Yeah. Definitely different
and a fresh look.
Yeah.
We're gonna take new. We're gonna try new things as far as for the podcast, what we're gonna do on the show and stuff like that. We're gonna we've been we experimented with the top 10 list, which was fun. We're definitely gonna do some more of that stuff. We didn't do as much solo the weeks. I think we did 2 this year. I think
we did 2 this year, yeah.
So it's not a whole lot or anything like that. We could focus on that more, I guess. But I really want to find new things and new ways to talk
have fun
about this and have fun. Yeah. And to talk about it. Cause that's the whole idea of the solo of
the more fun we have and the more engaging it is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And we want it to be fun for everybody listening. So,
or the more spirited it is.
Exactly.
Either way.
Exactly. So the solo of the week is one form of having fun. And obviously we can do it anytime we want. We can pull out a solo that we really like and go for it, but it's not like something we really focused on. What we really want to focus on, and we did this year, is trying new things. And next year is going to be a continuation of that. We're going to try new games, new guests. Obviously we're going to have a different style of interviewing. I think when we interview guests, we'll talk about it later. I think. Yep. We're not going to let you know all the details.
We're going to be completely revamping the Patreon.
Yep.
Coming out with better and more interesting rewards, I think.
Yeah, better content too. There'll probably be a lot more to offer there, and which is what we want to do. That's the whole idea. Is we want to make
we're going to get
a valuable thing.
We're going to have new merch up. Yeah, we can do that easily now.
Yep. And one thing we've talked about, I'm just going to go ahead and tease this. I don't know if we want to fully commit to this or anything, but what we are actively working on doing is switching to video and actually having a content that you can view and be in the room with us, kind of. You know what I mean? So we already upload to YouTube, so we already have a presence there. We just basically upload with the logo, and you can listen to the audio. But I'd like that to follow, with potentially what we're looking up on screen, and
when we talk about, oh, look at this cool guitar, you'll be able to see it.
Exactly. So it'll leave less blind spots, and of course you'll still be able to get the audio only episode, and we'll still keep that in mind when we're doing the video podcast. We're still gonna make it something valuable for audio too. It's not gonna be like, oh, look at this and look at that, and we never actually say what we're looking at. I always think that's funny when people get a little carried away and it's like, I'm listening here, I'm trying to find out. Every once in a while I get caught doing that.
Yeah, that is
listening to a podcast and they just keep talking about how something, well, not talking about how it looks, but just, oh my God, look at that. And you're just like, I can't.
Yeah.
No, we won't do that to you.
5 minutes later, they're like, for those of you listening.
Yeah. So I really want to step up our game there. We've always said that since the very beginning, that's the whole idea.
And I think we've done that too.
Yeah.
We're constantly thinking about how to improve.
Though,
And at the very least, we're staying consistent.
Yes.
Every week, you're going to get an episode from us on Monday.
At the very least, we're going to fucking talk music and
that's never going to
whatever's
change.
on our mind. Yeah, whatever's on our mind is going to come up. So that's the number one thing, because I feel like if you don't have, say you're a musician in Montana and you don't have that friend that you could talk to about music all the time, you know what I mean, or that you kind of pontificate and come up with ideas with. Hopefully you can get that through this show. I think that's what it's become more for me.
For sure.
As a place for those ideas and the working out of things and trying to problem solve, you know what I mean? It comes out here. And I like that. I like the fact that whenever I need to learn something or I need to do something, we come and we talk about it, and you're like, oh yeah, I've done that. And and there's stuff that I've done that you haven't done. You're like, Matt, I need your help. Like, do you know anything about this? I'm like, oh yeah, I've done that. So that alone is valuable to me. I think me and you are similar in a lot of ways, but we're also different enough that we can bring different things to each other. You know what I mean? Like we have different things to offer to each other. You know what I mean? So that's perfect. And I think you get that with the podcast, when you listen to it. That's my take from it, at least.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one big thing that I think we can do better, and we will do better in 2020, as far as advertising the show, is right now I think it's a bit too general. So I think we may come up with some new ways to kind of tell everyone what the show's about, so we can more closely pull in the people that it's going to interest.
Oh, that's a good point.
And not bring in a bunch of people that this isn't for.
This is what I mean? Right. Because
if you don't like rock music, you're not going to really like the show.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and you're not talking about like renaming it or anything like that, but maybe a way to make it more obvious what we're talking about, like in the visuals.
Yeah, I mean, well, we haven't figured out the details yet.
No, we haven't really.
We'll have to.
Deep, but
we've basically decided we want to do a total rebrand of the show, which I think will be super super fun, because I love the graphics and marketing side of things anyway. So
so a nice revamp of all the artwork.
Super excited about it.
Hell yeah. What else do we want to talk about on that front? Is there anything else that we're missing?
Oh man. It's an ambitious.
Ambitious.
This is all stuff we want done before 2020.
Kind of. We want to set up by 2020. That's my goal.
Right. Or really, even for me, I feel like it's all going to start at episode 100,
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
which is the end of just so really February, which is awesome because February is right at 2 years.
Exactly. So let's
Dead at 2 years.
That's so perfect. So let's talk about the 100th episode because
Let's do it because we've narrowed it down and couldn't be more excited.
I don't remember where we left you guys last time, to be honest.
I don't either, and I don't think we should give away too much because we haven't confirmed everything yet.
No, we need to talk to
So
people.
if we said too many specifics, it's not that we don't want to say anything. It's that if we did
They
and
might
stuff
not come
didn't come
through.
through, that would be annoying.
Yeah. So here's the plan as we have it, and we've talked about this a little bit. I forgot where we actually left you with details, but we want to do the 24-hour EP this year, but we couldn't do it as time ran out. We were thinking about how we're going to do this 100th episode. We thought, well, would it be cool if we had all the previous guests or some of whoever could be a part of it that we've had on the show as guests, or as some of them were interviews, some of them were guests. You know what I mean? We could have them on to be a part of a massive episode, basically, where it'd be like 3 episodes in one, essentially, where we might like talk with a group of people in this one and then talk with another group of people in this one.
That way it's
10
not 10 people at once.
We
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
need that. We don't need that. And I think the groups would really work themselves out well, I think, as far as like who would be on with at the same time. And then we thought, well, how hard would it be to just make to write a song with each group of people?
Mm-hmm.
Seemingly coming right back around to the 24-hour EP idea, where obviously it's not on a 24-hour restraint, but at least it's like no preconceived ideas coming into it. Everybody comes together, writes a song, records it, and then we're going to add on to this is going to be basically a talk show. We'll do a talk show, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, plus you'll get the song. And I'm really hoping we get a video clip, like maybe a quick little
I think we could
montage.
I think we could make a video, like almost like a studio music video for the song,
Right.
to release separately on YouTube as the song, or
We could
even just a
release it separately too,
behind the scenes.
But I'd like to
thing.
play it in the episode. You know what I mean? If it's our
But
own
we're-
content
Or we're gonna have video in the episode, right?
in the episode.
Oh, well, then
the
that
whole
should be
episode
fine,
should be
yeah.
on episode 100. I think should be all video, like the whole.
Well,
thing
then I
should
think
have
what we could do
video company
is we could
and
say,
you should unveil the new artwork if it's going to be next year.
Oh, for
Anyways,
sure.
well,
Yeah.
actually, we would have already unveiled it by then. Wouldn't
well,
we?
I think it should start at episode 100, not January 1st.
Okay.
So,
Let's do
but I think what we could do is we could make the video for the music, the studio music video kind of thing, and then we can kind of introduce it and then just play it and everybody watch it like a live thing together,
Right.
including us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, cool. So the idea, though, being 3 groups of people, 3 episodes essentially spliced into one. The episode could be as long as 3 hours, I guess, at that point. I don't know how.
Definitely, I hope so.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
It'll be a long ass marathon
Yeah.
episode with all our favorite guests on there.
Yeah,
You know,
it's gonna be
and,
really
and
awesome.
everybody's gonna, everybody that's been a guest is a musician. That's the idea. Talking to
Yep.
people who are also musicians locally, and
And the guests we're gonna get involved are the people you've heard kind of co-host the show with us.
Exactly.
They're not gonna be your Greg Howes and
Exactly.
Bumblefoots. They're gonna be the friends that we have, the Kyles.
yeah, exactly.
The Rassans
Rassan, exactly.
that
So-
that are on from time to time to talk and that kind of
Exactly,
thing.
and
So that's
we're
where you're
gonna figure out who can do what, when they can be available. That kind of thing's gonna play a factor into it. But we're gonna try and get these episodes recorded. They're gonna have to be recorded pre-hand, because obviously
yeah,
there's
for
a lot to juggle around. a
but
lot of
which it won't be
schedules.
topical, so that'll be fine.
Exactly. It's just gonna be purely creative. I mean, and kind of
Yeah.
covering your creative process in a way.
This is basically what we're doing instead of the 24-hour.
Exactly, and it's gonna be episode 100 at the same time. It's gonna be really cool because it's gonna be mixed in talk show plus music creation, which is kind of what we do best.
Yep.
Both of those things are what we do best. Is what I mean. That's cool. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
And
I'm
make
getting
some
really
calls and
excited
get the
about it.
schedule going for sure.
I guess we did that one too. We did all these.
We did it.
Here comes the yard.
Oh shit! The halfway through the episode yawn.
Oh no, I've been yawning the whole time.
Oh shit! I missed the first 3 chapters.
The first, yeah, you're picking up at chapter 8. So Taylor Swift's been in the news. I don't know about how recently, but for a while, she's upset that. Honestly, I'm a little fuzzy on what's going on, but it sounds like she's upset that a company bought her master recordings in what she believes is an attempt to kind of control her back catalog, which of course it is.
Right.
So this is all because of a contract she signed.
Oh man.
And there was an article that I saw that said that Prince's first manager or former manager or something was kind of, it seemed like he was kind of amused that she was upset about this because it's
Right.
like you kind of did this to yourself. Now, one thing that I really don't like is she basically she all but told her fans to like go harass the people that were messing with her or, you know, trying to buy the stuff.
Right,
Scooter
right,
Braun and
right.
his company. Dude, that's messed up.
That is pretty messed up. So she's inciting her
Those
fans.
people started getting like death threats and stuff.
Wow. So that's not legal, probably. That's probably
I don't know.
against
I really
ethical-
don't know that much about it, but
How much does it cost to buy Taylor Swift's back catalog,
a
bro?
lot of money.
Dude, I can't imagine. What did you say she makes per month or something like that?
She made $185 million in 2018.
Oh, in 2018, that's right.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's
So
crazy
that's all right.
I mean, if
she's
you
doing
own her
all right.
back catalog, essentially you take a lot of that, right? That's got to be a big part of her money.
I have no idea how it works.
I mean,
Because if somebody just bought her back catalog, that means she doesn't own it because she wouldn't have sold it.
right.
So somebody else already owned it. The labels is what it is.
Yeah, she's trading. they're
So she
trading
put
like
out her
trading
first album
cards.
at 17 years old in 2006, and that album had a lot of hits on it. At 17, she had
Right.
hits. You know,
Right.
that's like Teardrops on My Guitar and all those songs.
Right.
I believe I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift like buff. I don't know them like everything she's ever done.
She was
but
born in the same year I was. That's what I know.
oh, really?
1989, right?
Yeah, she put out that album
Yeah.
called 1989.
That's how I knew.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I'll be jamming that record sometimes. Let my hair out.
But I think this is a cautionary tale because as independent artists, which I'm sure most of us are, we have to be really careful what we get ourselves into.
Definitely. Definitely. Like there's always somebody who's going to offer like something, you know, whatever, but they don't want nothing in return. Like you got to remember
Right.
this. Like,
So to me, what it sounds like is Taylor Swift was happy to sign all the rights away when she had nothing and wanted to get rich and famous and successful. And then when she got rich and famous and successful, she was like, okay, I got what I want. Now give me back all the stuff that I gave you.
exactly.
And they were like, no. And then she's upset about that and she's
Yeah.
throwing a fit. And the casual person, when watching Taylor Swift post about it on Instagram, gets outraged because, of course, she's describing it in the way that she wants to describe
right.
it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, well, even if, you know, I don't know, even if it's ethically or morally wrong, whatever you want to call it, should the artist own their own work? That's a different conversation. It's still what she signed. So the question is not like, should the artist own their own work? Maybe,
What about
that's not what she signed.
what if the question is, does she
Also, I could have all this wrong, by the way.
Yeah. What if the question is, was she old enough at the time to make that decision to sign a contract that, you know, binds her for her whole life or whatever it is?
I don't know.
You know, like you saw this not too long ago with Avenged Sevenfold got kind of pissed off with Warner Brothers, and they actually, you know, left Warner Brothers, and I think Warner Brothers sued them because they owed them one more record or something like that, or one more, I don't know if it was a covers record or a compilation record or something like that. And then what happened was, it was kind of crazy. This is how nasty these things can get. Avenged Sevenfold was getting ready to put out their album. They were going to put out their album. And the record company, Warner Brothers, still own their music, whatever. They're in the battle or whatever, in court battles and stuff. But they released a compilation record literally right before or right after one of the other of their new album. So it, like, just the timing of it just fucked them, because now everybody's gonna go buy this Avenged Sevenfold compilation record and not buy the new record. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of just put the spotlight
Like a
on the
greatest
other-
hits or something?
It split a compilation record is like a greatest hits or a best of, like, you know, you can call it any of those things, but I always call it a compilation, is like a compilation of their music. You know what I mean? The best of, you know, however you want to put it. Some, like Richie Kotzen has compilations of just his ballads.
Right.
You know what I mean? They'll just be like
And an
the
acoustic
ballads,
one
You
and-
know, right, exactly. So they can be anything, but you know, but that was a really weird one when they did it. Like, it seemed like just in spite of their release and the whole way it all went down, they had to leave them and stuff like that. They just dropped that album to compete, you know, to compete with it, with their own music.
Yeah.
Isn't that just the craziest thing, dude?
That is
And then
pretty
they
nuts.
went and signed with Capitol eventually. So they're with Capitol
Yeah,
now.
so I mean, you hear these stories all the time. It almost makes you think, like, do we need a major label? You know what I mean?
You know my answer, and I think, and you're the same way. Like, I think we're the first
I think,
pioneers of the independent music scene,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
yeah, our generation for
I
sure.
think so. Like Chance the Rapper is like one of the first ones that everybody talks about and knows about, Who else? Who else has done it completely independently? A few of them.
That funk band we talked about with Ari.
Yep.
Volpec.
Yeah, and they
sold out Madison Square Garden.
Exactly, and
or some form
and
of
just
them
in
did.
clever ways too. Like it wasn't just like the music. It wasn't, obviously it takes more than good music to be a big band. Like it's marketing. It's being in the right place at the right time. It's everything. It's all the things. The music is like the bare minimum. That's the criteria basically. But then after that, it's like that's what separates the boys from the men.
Yeah.
So.
It just seems like
And not to be sexist on that.
it
Obviously,
seems like the
women from
labels.
girls too,
It seems
whatever.
like labels are able to offer less and less, and artists are able to do more and more by themselves, and that keeps shifting. Like it used to
Yeah.
be like an artist could do absolutely nothing, and the label offered everything.
That was the
in which
beginning,
case
right.
you would happily sign away all your rights in order to be rich and
You didn't
famous.
have much choice.
and you didn't worry about it because you
Yeah.
always had money, you always had Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
And then it puzzled me basically is that when you get rich and famous, it kind of gives you a power. Like, and then
Well,
when
now your name is popular.
Now your name
So no
is
matter if they own Taylor Swift's back catalog, Taylor Swift can still go on Instagram and be like,
say-
"Hey guys,
Exactly.
check out this deodorant," and they pay her $100,000. You know what I mean?
Not only that, she can say, "These guys are stealing my music. Go harass them in public." You know, what I mean? Like there's a power that is like that kind of gives you more than what the music or more
which
than
is
what the
which is an interesting argument in favor of the record label. The record label's point of view has to be something like, "Look, we are responsible for your success."
Right.
Basically 100%.
right. So once you become successful, you can't back
You're
out
welcome.
of the deal. Yeah.
You know what I
can't
mean?
Back out of the deal. It's like
Our
that was the
price
deal.
was we own your masters.
right.
You have paid the price, that kind of thing.
And you are a fucking
You don't get
major
to yeah.
superstar. You know what I mean? Like the fact that
If I
whatever
bought
you
if I
say
bought a guitar from
makes
you
headlines.
for $1,000 and then you gave me the guitar, I was like, "All right, sweet. Now give me my $1,000 back."
Right.
You would be like, "Fuck off."
Right. No, that's not.
That's not how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's a trade,
interesting though, but like I feel like I hope the trend is seeing this is an end to that trend. You know what I mean? And this is the start of the new trend where people are taking their music completely independently, learning a little bit about the business side, like what we talked about earlier, like actually doing it, taking it upon themselves. DIY. I've always, me, DIY till I die. I just think that it's better in your own hands. It's better to have control of everything. And
Well, and no one's going to actually do the work like you will.
exactly.
Like there's a lot
And
of
they
horror
wanna
stories where
appreciate-
a record label's going to sign your album and then they have so many other things going on that they shelve your album and nothing happens.
Exactly.
And now you can't own it. So you can't do anything about it. It's
Yeah.
not getting released, and now
Yeah.
now nothing's happening, and you're sitting there like, "Come on, give it back to me so I can do it," and that's not how it works.
Just a general appreciation for the craft of writing songs is gone from the person who is the one hawking it and marketing it. You know what I mean? I don't think for some reason then they may like the song, but it also doesn't weigh as much to them as far as like the morality or the maybe the message. Like if the message is lost and you're like, "Oh no, actually that's going like this video that you guys want to use for my song is actually going against exactly what I'm writing about. It's like the exact opposite." And I don't think they make a good, and they're like,
Right.
"Well, it sounds good to me. And it really works. And the beat works with the video and they use it anyways."
Check this out, dude.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like
Absolutely.
there's a disconnect.
Here's another example. Not music, but television. Last night I was talking to some people after the show, and the show Firefly came up, which I've never seen. But they said the show was originally supposed to be very good, and a lot of diehard fans think it is very good. But they had made the episodes in the order, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fox or whoever the network was decided they were going to release episode 2 first because it would have more action. And that would engage viewers more. So while it may have had more action, everyone watching it was like, "What the hell's going on in this show? This is weird as hell."
Yeah.
And
How did they?
What?
So they,
Like-
did they release episode 1 the next?
I don't know
one?
after that,
So
but
here's what most people do.
That's
most
so messed
networks
up.
do to avoid that problem where it's like there's not enough action in episode 1 because of all the character building you have to do. I think most of them they just release episode 1 and 2 on the premiere night.
Yeah.
So you actually get the character building and then you get the action show and then you're hooked. You already watched 2 episodes of the show.
yeah.
And you're hooked.
Well, not anymore. Netflix.
Netflix, exactly. Well, you'll binge watch them.
Move to the new model. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that too, man. I think the ability for anybody to put something out on TV now, that's also opening up with Netflix being, available now and YouTube also. YouTube even more of a lower barrier. Anybody can put anything as long as it's not offensive on
Yeah.
YouTube. And you can nowadays, everybody's phone is equipped with a camera on it, a video
Mm-hmm.
camera. And editing software. How about the fact you can get an editing, video editor, powerful video editor on your iPhone your Android, whatever. So you could be, you know, a little producer basically on your own. You could start the whole, you know, and I don't mean little as in like, but everything starts small, right? So you could start honing your craft, start putting these theories and these ideas you have into action. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the important part of art, I think, is putting it into action, because how many times of repetition and practice it's going to take, and how many just going through the motions it's going to take to understand the process and then perfect the process, actually make something worth, showing everybody. So I really love it. I want to do some projects myself. I have some ideas of doing like little video projects, like a pilot episode of a TV show.
Yeah.
That, stuff like that is always interested in me. And now it's becoming more and more easy, so I've just encouraged everybody to go try stuff, and just do it on your own.
You have to get good at the power of research.
Yes.
So
which
some people think like, I wish I could edit video on my iPad.
Right.
And that's where that thought stops. And it's like, well, dude, just Google iPad video editor. There's going to be 50 of them come up.
Exactly.
Download 3 or 4 of them and figure out which one you like.
Read reviews of each one of them. See what people say about these. See if what the price is, and if there's add-ons and stuff like that that cost you more later. You can find out everything. Like just read. Somebody's gone through the same thing that you're going through.
Yeah, tons of people. Yeah. And my favorite thing is I'll Google like top 10 video editing apps.
Yes,
and,
of course.
And then there'll be tons of listicles that pop up that say like, here's this one. This one's good because of this. It's bad because of this.
Exactly.
Here's this one. This one's awesome, but it's $50.
You can take that information and go, what do I need this for? What applies to me?
Right.
Don't worry about things that don't apply to you. And then you can figure out which one's best for you. I mean, it's literally never been simpler to do.
And you can do that with anything.
Any
graphic design software, video editing software, what calendar you should use, how do you organize your band finances,
right.
Everything you can
practice
do.
Routines, all kinds of, there's so much things out there nowadays. So there's no excuses. Just you have to want to do the work. And I think we're getting to the point where everything is getting so easy that it's almost like the work actually seems like pointless to do. It's like, well, somebody else can do that work and they'll be the same place I am. Yeah, but you realize that nobody, like you have to, if everybody said that, nobody would be doing anything.
Right.
You have to just go
Somebody's
for something.
Somebody's got to actually do it.
You have to go for something. And
don't worry about what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
Just do what you can do.
And do the best thing you can do. That's the thing, is like strive to be better, strive to and understand the learning curve. Understanding that the beginning is not going to be the best you can do. Like it's going to be something, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good enough to inspire you to try and do better, and be better. A lot of times people get disappointed and discouraged in the beginning, and they're like, oh, this is never going to work. Look how bad this is. Look at it, how bad it is, but then also decide why it's bad. Like you have to dissect it, and you have to really put your effort into this. It's like to make things better, whatever this is. And this music is obviously the first thing that comes to my mind. This is probably how I learned this process. Actually, maybe it was some form of art, but I realized that nobody's good at it in the beginning. You have to work to be better, and it depends. And the only thing that makes people want to work to be better is how much they love doing that thing. You know what I mean? So if I truly do love music, and I like I say I do, and I feel like I can back it up with how much time I spend in it, then I will spend my time in it, and it won't bother me to spend my time doing it.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. Yeah,
it doesn't even bother me to spend my time doing it because it's what I want to do. So it's
what you'd be doing anyway.
The biggest thing I think when it comes down to figuring out what you want to do first, like that, if that's a hard enough goal, right? But figure out what you don't mind spending your time doing, and what you could see yourself doing all your time with, and obsessing over. And usually it's obvious. Usually it pops out to you because you're like, man, I really do this a lot. And then figure out how to monetize it. That's the next step, is how am I going to make a living on this? And it's not just monetize it so I can be rich. It's how am I going to make this a sustainable living? There's nothing wrong with that. Like people think that's selling out or something.
Oh yeah, that always cracks me up.
That's hilarious.
I heard that in high school. I always wanted to make money with my music, and everyone said I was selling out. Why do you think I want to make money with my music? Because I want to do more music.
Exactly.
I don't want to work at Starbucks. I want to play music. So if you're gonna work at Starbucks and not sell out, I'm gonna sell out.
If you have to make money other ways, then you're taking your time away from your music.
And now I do make all my money on music, and I play music all day long. So it's really nice.
And that's the thing is too, you find out what jobs tie into the thing that you love, even if they're not the thing you love and that's not what's making you money. What job's close to that, or what job can you do that's going to make you money and sustain you while you're figuring that out? Like
if you want to play guitar, but maybe you're good at building or fixing guitars, there's always people looking for that.
Then there's luthier, jobs, or work at a guitar shop, or
or you're good at woodworking and love guitar. Maybe you meet those together and become your own. You
become your own guitar worker, maker. And,
maybe you've never done guitar specific work, but you love woodworking and that kind of thing. Exactly. You can cross pollinate.
And you also should look into time, like what things take up time. Like you can get a part-time job and then make the rest of your money from music, go out and whatever you got to do, busk, put on shows, do whatever you got to do, right? Promote. There's all kinds of jobs around music that you could potentially, pay your bills with. And it's just about finding the right combination that works for you. Like some people are better at talking to people. Some people can't talk to people at all. Some people, you just have to look at your values, look at what you do best and what you can stand doing. That's another thing. As I always ask people before I accept their help, because you'll get people that are friends and they generally want to help, right? And you're like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Because there's some things we need done, and they're not the most glorifying. If you want to help, like there's a few things you could do, but also I want to make sure you want to do this, and you're not gonna just get halfway through this and bail on me halfway.
Yep.
So I really feel like you have to know what you're gonna be okay with spending your time doing. That's important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you eventually end up like oh shit, I'm spending so much time away from my family now, and I'm really regretting that, then you're gonna find out that you're gonna have to make a change. It's not gonna work, or whatever. And you just got to be smart about it, and I don't know, prioritize. Prioritizing is super big in my life, I think, because everything is how much time you put into it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to decide how much time am I gonna put into this week, and And it's hard.
Yeah, you only have so many hours.
Yeah, it's hard, but there's a lot of time there's a lot of things you can do, but you just need to decide how much time you can put into it. Like I definitely don't play guitar as much as I do in the way that I used to play. Like I just would sit around and play guitar. Now I do that, but it's more like passive. It's not like I'm focusing on playing my guitar anymore. Sometimes I just pick up a guitar and I like hang out and I play on it, or whatever. And then we have band practice and then we have shows and that's it. That's all I play my guitar. So now that opens up my life for other things though. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't have anything else to learn on guitar. I definitely do, but it's where I'm spending my time because of the situation I'm in. I can play the music that my band plays, pretty confidently. I feel pretty good about all that. Now I need to focus on learning how to make that band a business. Also marketing, all these things that I have to learn and be better at. Video editing, graphic design, all of this, that I'm trying to be better at, and I'm trying to make our band better for it, So, and I don't.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we got on the subject again. Just making yourself. DIY is what we were talking about. Just being totally independent and trying to do it all yourself. So,
yeah,
and it's not. And by yourself doesn't mean by yourself. Actually, what it means is that nobody else is telling anybody what to do. You have the control in your band. You
right,
can,
for sure.
You can hire somebody to do the artwork for you. You can hire somebody to promote a show for you. You don't need some manager to do all these things for you or anything like that. You can have a manager to do it for you, but at least you are in charge of that manager. It's not the record label telling the manager what to do or how.
Yeah, it gets really, really sticky.
Yeah, the stories of the old music business, man, really paint a picture, man. Paint an interesting picture. Like if you look at the Dirt, even has a little bit of it in it, where you see how the manager is kind of the babysitter of the band, and he kind of takes care of everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But also that Motley Crue didn't, they didn't own their own masters. I'm pretty sure they at the time.
Most artists do not, by the way.
Especially in that era.
It's a big deal for an artist to own their masters. That's almost a non-negotiable thing.
Oh yeah. One of the biggest ones that always got me was the John Fogerty story. From
I'm not familiar.
Creedence Clearwater Revival singer, guitar player, songwriter. John Fogerty. He wrote all those famous songs. Susie Q. Those songs are coming to my head, but I can't think of the names of them. But he basically got screwed. He signed a contract that's basically they owned the first, I think, 100 songs that he wrote. First 100 songs that he wrote, and then after that, he could start making music under his name. I guess, was it under Creedence or was it under John Fogerty? I think it was under Creedence Clearwater. That's why he went on and did his own thing after that. And then he had to rebrand the songs and start calling them John Fogerty of Clearwater. Something weird, man. It was super weird, but he got screwed basically. He signed the worst deal ever in the history. I encourage you to go read it yourself and check it out, because it is one of the most depressing ones ever. The way I heard about it was Howard Stern. He went on Howard Stern and explained to Howard.
Fogerty himself did?
Fogerty himself did, yeah.
Nice.
Went on Howard Stern and explained the whole situation. And it was just I think I literally cried when I was listening to it.
The problem is
they fucked him.
As bad as that is, you should not have signed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And
it's at the end of the day,
that process too, and how they got him to sign it. There's a little bit of a
trickery. Coercion.
It's a trickery. Yeah.
And that's one thing. And if they did something illegal, then that's, wrong.
Exactly.
And that should be punished. If they did not do something illegal, then it's his fault.
They didn't. Yeah,
that's the thing.
He lives with it though, but he also knows that he got screwed.
That's the thing. Yeah, and he's an
I'm
sure it's a terrible deal, but artists have to start
taking responsibility.
Yeah, and not like he obviously wanted to sign a deal to become rich and famous.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean.
And whatever
all would.
I really wish.
And
I knew
here's
the
someone
details.
sitting in front of you saying like, "Hey, sign this. You're gonna be rich and famous, dude."
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And if you don't take the time, and if you're afraid to say no, that's the thing. Like every artist, I'm sure that's ever encountered a deal like that. I never have.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely positive all of them were like terrified to not sign it because this is my one chance.
Yeah.
Am I just tearing up my one chance?
Just blow my one chance
because
away.
of my pride. And it's like, well, you got to be careful.
I think that's why you don't go after that. If you go into the music and into whatever venture you're going into, creative, and you're going to be on your own and you're going to, try and do something like that. Don't go into it with the idea that somebody's just going to come along, pick it up, and then make all your dreams come true. Go into it with the idea that nobody's going to do that. And you are completely on your own. And if some miracle deal came along, you'd be completely skeptical because you've already got the idea in your head of how you're going to do it, right? You don't need to be rich either. That's another thing. Don't get greedy about the goal that you
need
set
enough
for yourself. You need to just say, all right, can I make enough? Like, can I get to this much amount of money? And then that would set me, as far as like pay my bills and I'd be good. I'd be set. But if you go into it like, man, this is it. I'm going to be a millionaire after this song drops or whatever, and everybody tries to buy it from me. It's like, no, don't go into it with that thought because
unfortunately, because of the culture, that's kind of how the hip hop scene seems to be.
It does seem to be that way. And
it's very much about
that's
like,
the way the rock
I had nothing and now I'm worth
millions.
millions.
That's the way the rock scene used to be too. Same idea, It
never seemed as much like
rags to riches. That's wind. That sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
It does.
Anyways,
it's insane.
It's
but
more rags to riches.
It never seemed to be like, I mean, I know rock stars are famous for having nice cars and strippers and all this stuff, but it never seemed to be the same way hip hop is. Like, you don't see rockers walking around with like $30,000 chains and 6 watches.
The difference is the
and,
cost and not the style. Like the rockers wanted it for the style. It seems the hip hop community wants it for just the cost. Literally, like, look how expensive all this stuff was.
Right.
Whereas rockers, I don't think wanted that. They definitely had this air of, and we're talking like rock stars in the 80s. They had this air of, I have expensive things and expensive taste, right? But it wasn't because it was expensive. It was like the taste that they had that you couldn't afford. Whereas this is more like...
Most of it was drugs.
Exactly. Most of it was blown on drugs. But this is more like this right here has got diamonds and gold. It's made of diamonds and gold. So this is like worth millions and millions and millions, but it's on my wrist. You know what I mean? Like, so, or whatever, whatever the thing is, it just seems like it's only for the cost of things, which really bugs me, man. That's my problem with it. Attila is one of those metal bands that has really adopted a lot of hip hop like influence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is one video that literally makes me sick to my stomach, dude.
That's hilarious.
Where they're doing like the rap video thing where they got just tons and tons of bling and girls everywhere. And
now, do you think they're spoofing it?
I don't think so. I think they're trying to put a new spin on this rock star thing, and they're trying to rebrand it.
It seems like a weird move. Rock and rap typically don't get along.
I'm going to show it to you after this when we hit this off button.
Please
here,
don't.
I want you to watch it because I mean I don't really know what to make of it other than this is just the new trying to be that what hip hop was. And
okay.
Hip hop's kind of
all right. Well, let's check it out. We're wrapping up here. Any closing thoughts?
Nah. Be independent. Stay independent.
Stay independent.
Peace.
I'm throwing up the devil horns. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening, and see you next week on the Musicians Talk Show.